Viksit. Good afternoon, all. Respected dignitaries, esteemed speaker, and dear participants. A very warm welcome to each and everyone of you to today's insightful webinar on geospatial education and Viksit Bharat. It is an honor to have such a distinguished speaker and audience gathered here to explore the pivotal role of geospatial technologies in shaping the developed India, Viksit Bharat. Based on the motto of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, Symbiosis International University contribute towards the knowledge generation and ethical and value-based learning. On the same note, as a nation, India, we embark our journey towards becoming a developed nation. Geospatial education stands as a cornerstone for the progress, offering transformative solutions using GIS and remote sensing. So to discuss on this, for today's webinar, we have a distinguished guest, Mr. Agendra Kumar, Managing Director of Esri, and our beloved Director, Sir, Dr. T.P. Singh will be here for us. On behalf of SIG, I welcome you all. So with that, let's begin with the session. I will hand over the session to Professor T.P. Singh, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Gauri. Thank you for this setting a tone for this workshop. And I welcome Mr. Agendra Kumar ji, who is the one of the stalwart in the geospatial industry in all across globe, who is managing director of ESRI. So Agendra Kumar ji is having MSc in mathematics, Master of Management Studies, and having the 4 decades of IT experience. He has a personality promoting the adopting of a geospatial technology in the country since he joined ESRI India in 2013. Under his leadership, ESRI India has partnered with numerous government and the private organization to execute critical and transformative projects using ESRI GIS. Expanding the geospatial community in India is an important priority for that Esri India, and I see that Mr. Agendra Kumar is the leading this area how GIS and the geospatial technology can be spread all across India as well as that globe, and ESRI is playing the pivotal role on this. Agendra Kumar ji also served as a tenure as a president of Association of a Geospatial Industry and the chair of a FICCI committee on geospatial technology. I must say that the ESRI is the one of that forefront in the industry in the geospatial, working in the different dimension. And after when Mr. Agendra Kumar has taken a charge of ESRI, they have come up very largely in that education field also, as well as then collaboration with the different kind of university sector as well as colleges. So I welcome to Mr. Agendra Kumar ji for this workshop. Welcome to you, Agendra Kumar ji, and the session is to you.
Thank you, Dr. T.P. Singh. Thank you, Dr. Gauri Deshpande, and to all the students who have joined this webinar this afternoon. I really appreciate Dr. Singh's gesture of moving this instead of 24th to today because I was traveling. 24th January happens to be the International Education Day, so it was scheduled for that day. I want to start by congratulating all the students for choosing geoinformatics as their field to build career. It's a bit of a niche field, but it's a very exciting field. It's the career that you will build by learning geospatial technologies and supporting some of the most challenging problems that are being faced by humanity today. It'll be very rewarding, satisfying career. And there are so many new research and developments happening in this field that every day, I guarantee every day will be very exciting when you work in the area of geoinformatics. So it's a good choice made by all of you. This year's International Education Day focused on um, AI revolution, which the world is facing now. I shouldn't say facing, the world is going through. AI is a very is a new tool. It's progressing extremely fast. There are different flavors of that. Uh, there are large language models. There's the Chat GP kind of systems. There are other AI-based uh, applications and systems which are being developed. And this what we have seen so far is only a tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more progress is going to happen in the field of artificial intelligence. At the same time, there's talk about, will it make people redundant? What will happen to jobs? Yes, some jobs which are at the lower level may get impacted. Like some of the things when we automate, we don't need people to do it. Like today in some restaurants, you see a robot going around and you put the plate and it goes to the washing area. You use some AI applications, especially chatbots kind of things, where you don't really need a human to sit and answer simple questions. I think human development of capability, the way it has been happening, uh, we all can start doing more challenging tasks. For tasks that are less challenging can be performed by machines, by uh, development like development of these chat GPT kind of application or bots. They can answer questions, very simple questions. I visited another education institute and I came across an application built by a student, which helps people in choosing attire for a function like a wedding or a birthday or something like that. And so there are a lot of such innovative things which are happening. Yes, it's important that we keep in mind that people get reskilled to perform higher level jobs so that they don't lose avenues for work or livelihoods. In the field of geoinformatics, when we apply AI, we call it Geo AI. We bring GIS and artificial intelligence together and try to bring AI in GIS workflows. Uh, we try to do tasks like object identification of satellite imagery, analytics in video feeds, patterns in imagery and other data for applications like agriculture, like crop monitoring. If there's a disease in the crop, what it is, can using machine learning, you can identify those patterns and see the magnitude of problem and take some corrective action. In the areas of land management, traffic management, identification of water bodies. So there are a number of geo AI kind of applications have come up in the field of geospatial or GIS. And there are more and more cases going to happen because today what happens is most of these models, when they are developed for with the data which is in another country. I think the need in India today is to create. Today we train those models with the Indian data, but I think the more work which has started now is terms of creating models in India so that it's easier to train with the Indian situation. So the results will be better, accuracy will be better. I think more R&D is required in this part so that uh, people like you as students or some young professionals can start developing models in India so that we can do better pattern identification and analytics using AI and machine learning. So that's a good opportunity that lies in front of all of us. Uh, Viksit Bharat is India's vision to be a developed nation by 2047, encompassing economic growth, sustainability, infrastructure development, social welfare, all these things. Uh, so by 2047, India is expected to be the third largest economy with a GDP of $50 trillion. So it's a pretty ambitious goal. Most of the analysts say that India will become third largest economy much sooner than 2047. Uh, GDP of 50 trillion may take all the way till 47. It's very hard for me to say because it's still quite far away, and I'm not an economist, but people who are in this field, they have a better understanding. Uh, while AI is being talked about the most crucial technology for investments the world over. I mean, I was reading in last 3-4 days, US has announced a major investment, billions of dollars for developing uh, IT infrastructure, the compute infrastructure for AI applications. In India also, there's a tender which is under evaluation and finalization by MIT to set up a AI uh, cloud with a lot of GPUs so that community, the students, the researchers, the educational institutions, they have access to a resource which otherwise very hard to afford. If we try to build small setup, then running large models and large programs becomes difficult. But this will be a large center with thousands of GPUs in one place. So that, and it's government owned, so it will be cheaper for people to use. A lot of people will get free access to this resource because government is making an investment. So it's really a very positive step in the right direction. Apart from this, there are other AI clouds which are being set up by private cloud companies. There are several of them. They're also available for people to run their jobs and models on that to make the task of using AI and machine learning easier by creating data infrastructure which can be shared instead of everyone building their all own small infrastructures. So I think these are good things. And in our country, in our economy, making like billions of dollars of investment overnight is not going to be easy. And other thing is that India knows how to work with lower amounts. If you look at the way the mission to moon, the Chandrayaan, the overall cost was a fraction of what was, uh, what was the amount, fraction of the money which was spent by other countries in taking a satellite to the moon. So in India, I think we know we can innovate, we can bring the cost really down, and make sure that things are more affordable and the technological excellence can be achieved with lower investment. So I think these are some of the steps where a lot of such positive, which can be very positive assets for doing better research and development in the country. Now, so apart from the investments in AI, I would say that geospatial is the next most important segment today in terms of what I read in the newspapers and elsewhere. Uh, Government made the policy environment for geospatial technologies and adoption easier by announcing a new geospatial data policy in 2021 and then a new national geospatial policy in 2022. So that gives a very clear uh, uh, clear slate for us. We very clearly know that what is possible, what is not possible, and these policies are very open. There are hardly any restrictions left in the field of geospatial. Uh, for companies like us, we are an Indian company. We have no restriction. We can have data of any resolution. We can share that data. We can use. We can store. We can process. So those are some of the great things which have happened in the country, which are going to give a very big boost to the adoption of geospatial technologies. Now, when we combine geospatial and AI together, the power is immense. And now, when we look at these technologies, whether it's AI or geospatial technologies, I think quality education plays a very key role. And students who are the future of any nation, uh, I think you will make a big difference to the progress in the technological framework of the country and also the economic and social framework of the country. Uh, not to say that we are not smart enough. We were smart enough in our time, but when you compare with every generation, the knowledge, the availability of knowledge, availability of resources, uh, and the innovativeness keeps growing up. Uh, Today, I sometimes see that. I mean, in my days when I was in college, the startup word probably did not exist. But today, I see that people, when they are doing undergrad, many students build a startup, and by the time they graduate, they have a thriving business. And we've seen there's a good number of unicorns which country has produced. I mean, I'm not worried about comparing with any other country, but if you look at just our country, it's a phenomenal progress which has been made, and that has happened because of the student community. Uh, and in our days, there was no internet. Library was the only place to go and find something. Such a slow way of doing things. Now you have mobile phone and you can just search and find so many things. Life has become much easier. In terms of access to information is far better. So my advice to the students is to make your best use of time, learn these technologies, and because college is a time where you have a lot of flexibility, you have time for learning, uh, you have your professors and teachers who are available to show you the direction and help you in getting the best knowledge that you can gather while you're at the institute. Uh, Now, when we talk about Viksit Bharat, uh, it's a it's in other words, it's like it's making India a developed nation. Now, let's look at what are the generally visible signs of a nation being a developed nation. Uh, as a layman, the first thing that comes to our mind is what is my quality of life? Do I have good avenues of work? How's my housing? How's the other infrastructure which is required? Railways, railway stations, airports, how are they designed? How are they built? Are they clean? Are they secured? Uh, I think that's a visible uh, progress that we see in a nation. In India also you see that. I mean, so many new airports coming up. Quality of infrastructure in airports is definitely very good. Uh, railway stations are also in queue for redevelopment. Uh, Housing is improving. Uh, though I personally see some challenge that sometimes quality of housing is not all that good. The quality of construction is not all that good. But that's a different reason altogether, because most of the decisions are taken by lowest cost, and in that lowest cost, often quality gets missed out. We look in many situations as a nation, we look at the lowest cost, but quality gets missed out. So sometimes the quality of that infrastructure, whether it's highways or airports or housing, it's not as good as it should be. Uh, and I read that Mr. Nitin Gadkari mentioned about the highways that this challenge exists today. And he said that he's going to address this in some way or the other. Similarly, in other areas, if we address this, I think the quality of our infrastructure will also be better. Other important thing is environment. In fact, the quality of air we breathe is extremely important. And that's the area that and the climate change, the impact of climate change that we are facing. Uh, these are very, very important factors in terms of quality of life. Now, I mean, I live in Delhi. The air quality has been poor for several months, and it has a direct impact on health, which is the most important part of a human life. Uh, Today we see only short-term effects, but as per the data published by government, the life the I mean the number of years in a human life will be reduced by 5 or more. It's a huge impact on the society. Economic growth is another factor which is important when we talk about a nation being developed nation, which means the stability of economy, higher industrial investments, better modes of transport and mobility. Uh, Now, GIS and geoinformatics play an important role in all these sectors. We talk about a concept of geo-design. Geo-design is a concept which is to improve the quality of infrastructure design. How will it look? How will it be to interact for a human being to interact with it? If you go to an airport, how easy will be to approach? Will it get congested uh, in the near future? I mean, when you build an infrastructure, you build for 20, 30 years. So are those things being kept into mind while planning for uh, housing or like smart cities or new urban areas or airports or other facilities like that? So GIS along with geo design play a important role in terms of designing, planning, and building that infrastructure. So some of you may have interest in these areas and you can pursue that. Uh, Environment is another area where there is a huge involvement of geospatial technologies, whether it's about understanding the changing patterns, the changing climate patterns, the weather patterns, and the impact of changing weather patterns on human life and the infrastructure we build. Due to climatic changes, for last few years, we see that severe severe weather incidents are on the increase. We have floods, we have droughts, we have uh, very heavy rain in a short period of time. And in most of our cities, when the drainage infrastructure was built, the rain pattern was very, very different. Rain used to be distributed over several months. Now, in a monsoon season, the number of rainy days have come down, but in many places, the overall amount of rainfall has increased. So it puts an extra pressure on the drainage system. And if drainage systems are not uh, big enough, then the urban flooding happens, which is a very big challenge today. Uh, Sometimes houses get flooded, cars get inundated. So all those things are causing problems. So I think GIS plays a important role here also in understanding the pattern of the weather pattern, the patterns of rain, patterns of drought, and understanding that what is likely to happen and take some decisions about either building better infrastructure or improving certain other conditions so that people do not get impacted as much as they get. A very popular example of use of geospatial technologies is in the in prevention of loss of life in cyclone situations. Earlier in in the last century, around 1990, 95, year 2000, even earlier in this century, uh, if a cyclone would come in coastal areas of Andhra Pradesh or Odisha, uh, thousands of people would die. I remember 13,000, 20,000 people dying. And at some point in time, government and private sector came together and they tried to address this problem by creating systems for better prediction and also making sure that we evacuate people to safer places, provide them shelter, food, water, so that they can survive in the cyclone shelters, so that loss of life is almost eliminated. Now only 5, 7 people die in case of a cyclone, not thousands of people. Can you put a value to the to this achievement? It's very hard because there's no value for the human life. But the fact that we are able to save tens of thousands of people every year is really an enormous benefit of use of geospatial technologies for saving human life. And it's not far away, it's in our country. And a lot of past students are involved in this. I mean, somebody who studied in 80s and 90s, they are doing this kind of work today. So I'm sure you will also get involved in these kind of activities, which will have a huge impact on the human life. Uh, so I spoke about stability of economy, which also includes agriculture in a big way. balance of agriculture produce is the GIS application. What is the demand? Where should we cultivate? Where should we take it to market? How should we distribute? How should we, in case there is a loss to the crops because of bad weather, cyclones, floods, how should we compensate the farmers? These are all applications where geoinformatics is being used in quite a big way. Coming back to the Viksit Bharat concept, uh, I think the better transportation and mobility options is another very clearly visible sign. How's your and in India we are building many metro railways in various cities. India is among the top countries today to have metro railways. Of course, other mode of transportation still require work to be done, whether it's uh, mobility through buses or other modes. I think it still needs more work to be done. Better education and healthcare are also very important for a country to be a developed nation. So in terms of education, we had a new national education policy which came a few years ago. I think it's a positive futuristic policy, and a lot of adoption is happening, and that will really help uh, us to bring out students uh, who are more employable and who are at the current level of requirements in terms of technological understanding. So that's an important part. Having good healthcare is important, and I think in India we are quite fortunate. Our healthcare systems are quite good, at least in the private side. The government hospitals in some cities are not as good, but in private hospitals, which are in plenty, the healthcare quality is good. Cost may be high. Um, that is a separate subject, but as such, healthcare is available, health insurance is available, uh, and that's an important part for the human life. Then comes safety and security. I think that's also a big need for a developed nation, that citizens as well as visitors, when they are in a country, they should feel safe. They should not be worried about crimes against them. Uh, in some cities, we use GIS to understand the patterns of crimes, how to create, uh, how to ensure that the city has good street lighting, presence of uh, police and other security agencies, uh, so that people feel safe while going around. Having better transportation systems so that life is safe in the for the people who are going out. Uh, having better fire prevention, fire control, fire management systems. Uh, I think they all require geospatial intervention for building good systems to provide more safe and secure environment to the citizens. Uh, when it comes to geospatial technologies, I think a lot of adoption is happening today in what we call homeland security, which is various intelligence agencies and police kind of organizations, fire services, and also in the defense sector. Yesterday in the parade, if you might have seen that there was a uh, new system which was shown. There were new two large vehicles built by BEL for army in form of battlefield surveillance system. So that's a very important system, and these kind of systems use geospatial technology at the back end, because everything has location. Anything which is happening anywhere, one needs to know where, at what time, and what has happened. So this is another area where geospatial technologies play a very important role. Of course, not to say that natural resources, whether it's mining or water or forest or oil and gas, I think they all use geospatial technologies. And any progress that we make in these areas will certainly help in making country a progressive country, a Viksit country, a developed country. I mean, I have seen in my 11 and a half years that I have spent in Esri India, I have seen that in almost every sector of our economy, GIS technologies are being used. Other geospatial technologies like using drones or getting access to satellite imagery, all those technologies are being used quite effectively. And if we continue on this path, and with students like you coming in the professional field, I'm sure there'll be more resources available to use to use these technologies and in making things better. I would like to encourage more students to come and study geoinformatics, because there's always a shortage of professionals in this field. It's not easy for companies like us and the users of technology to have enough technically qualified and trained resources. So I would urge you to suggest to your brothers, sisters, cousins, whoever else you know, to come into this field. It's an upcoming field. It's an important field, and I'm sure you all can build great careers here. Thank you.
Sir, thank you for that. No, your thoughts about that the geospatial technology. In fact, that no, I can recall that no, you mentioned about that how geospatial technology has changed that human life. In fact, that no, the this education International Education Day, the 2025, they have mentioned about this artificial intelligence education. And when that geospatial technology will marry with that, no, the artificial intelligence, then it is going to be a more strong technology. And which you mentioned about the Geo AI. So Geo AI, because as you mentioned, a lot of data is coming, a lot of spatial data is coming from the different sources, from that space, from land, from that water. You are going to be get enormous volume of the data, and that how you are going to be handle those data sets. These are that no the issue, and GOI is that no the one of the education which maybe deal with this such kind of that data sources which are there, because we know that no the hundreds and thousands of satellite is hovering over our surface, and they are sending data sets with the high resolution data, and that no the extracting information using a geospatial technology is that no the again going to be a challenge. And that correctly mentioned that no how it is changed our life, basically that no the human life in India. I recall that no in 2000 when super cyclone hit Odisha, around that no the 10,000 and more than 10,000 people were died that time. But in 2019, when Fani hit Odisha coast, government of India mentioned that no, there was no casualty from the cyclone. In fact, it was that no, the other reason could be there, but that no, the by the cyclone they have shifted that no, the lot of people from that no, the from that area which was hit by the cyclone. So this is that no how the geospatial play a very important role to identify that no the from where to where that no we have to be moved, which area is going to be impacted a lot, and that no after that no the preparedness, that know how to prepare for that, and that how we are going to be deal with that no the whole area. So this is the use of a geospatial technology which play a lot to make that no the better human life. Sir, we have some of that, no, the questions from that students. In this session, we have students from around that, no, the 200 students from that, no, the different parts of India. They have that, no, some questions, and they want to interact you. But because that we have received a lot of questions, we have come up with that, no, the sum of 5, 7 questions about that, no, they want to ask this. So the first question, Akash Suresh Jadhav, he is from Symbiosis International University. He is asking about that in academics life, students should more focus on research in GIS field, or they should focus on adopting a new technology in GIS like BIM, digital twin models, or some other technology. And that's a
Yeah,
question
very
from
very
Akash.
interesting question. Very interesting question. Well, from in my opinion, uh, doing a research in a fundamental technology is very different from doing applications. Uh, it's like one is like pure science and the other is applied science. So that's the kind of difference, and it depends on the mindset. So those who have a research-oriented mindset, then they should go into the research part. Uh, the research here could be finding newer ways to do certain things. And the other part is applications like using GIS in BIM or digital twin models. Uh, I think these are outcomes. I think there's a part in between, which is that how a technology can be applied in various areas, various segments. I think the focus should be on that. Because if you go into BIM and digital twin model, it sounds more like a to do with architecture, building, civil engineering kind of applications. Uh, but there are many other areas where one can build a career. Even the GIS has traditionally been a field which is where there are more opportunities in the government organizations or government related organizations, companies like us who do a lot of work for government. But now we've also started doing work for a large number of private organizations. I mean, telecom companies have been long time users of GIS technology. Electric utilities have been using for a long time. But now companies who manufacture cement or steel or automobile, consumer goods, moving consumer goods, I think they have started using GIS. So those things opened newer avenues of employment and applying the learning of GIS. So I think that will be my advice for this. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Uh, Devansh Negi from University of Delhi, he is asking about that how can geospatial education be integrated into a school and university curriculum to empower young minds to contribute to the vision of a Viksit Bharat?
Yeah. So at school level, there is some courses are there at in I think from class 8 onwards or something like that. There is a thinking in the government to update that because it's a very old curriculum which is running in the schools for a very long time. So any update to that will be really good. In universities, as I see today, the geospatial education is limited to geo-informatics programs or civil engineering. I'm a strong supporter of at least teaching one elective to the students of every discipline, whether it's mechanical engineering or computer science or anything, just at least one elective. They should all be aware when they use an app like a map app or order a food or call a taxi, they should at least be able to understand, okay, what went behind this application? How was it created? What are the layers of data? I mean, some basic simple concepts should be known to them. And so I think that is my take. Now, in support of this initiative, Esri India, along with Center for Knowledge Sovereignty, which is an NGO based in Delhi, we have started a program called Master Mentors Geo Enabling Indian Scholars, MMGEIS. This is a program which is absolutely free. It's for students from 8th grade to undergrad. And this is completely virtually delivered through video lectures and some reading material. And this is focused on geospatial education. And the idea of this particular program is to inculcate research-oriented thinking in the minds of the students at the young age, so that they understand when they use an app where there's a map or map being used, how these were created, what more can be done, how these can be improved, what is the next step? Because for last many years, the apps are very similar. They're only delta change, but time will come, there'll be a quantum jump. Somebody has to think about it. So I think those are the reasons why we have started a program like that. And I think any effort by the universities or government will be more than welcome.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. So, Ananya Kamble, She is from Symbiosis Institute of Geoinformatics, and she is asking that, no, what role does ESRI India envisage for geospatial technology in supporting India's sustainable development goals, and how can student, professional, and organizations contribute to this vision?
Okay, so Esri India typically works with government organizations in terms of taking action and monitoring the progress on various sustainable development goals. Now, the data creation for the progress happens from a district level, and it gets consolidated at the state level. We work with states to see the progress of that state on each of the parameter, and then so that they know where they are doing better, where they're not doing better, using mapping technology about which areas of the state they have reached and where all they have not been able to reach and what interventions are required. So that's a kind of work we do, and I've seen a lot of focus is coming on uh, goal number 3, which is about good health and well-being. Goal number 4, which is for quality education. Uh, Number 6, which is about clean water and sanitation. These are some of the uh, the SDGs where there's a lot of focus coming in every state because they want to improve the quality of life for people. And of late, we have seen, I mean, it's not that, I mean, focus is there on all the 17 goals, but in climate action and building sustainable communities are 2 more areas where a lot of things are happening.
Okay. Thank you, sir, for this. Another question from Ritesh Singh at MES University, Kolkata. He is asking about, or I'm a little bit tweak his question. He is asking that, no, how geospatial education can achieve a Viksit Bharat.
Well, I spoke about this in my talk to a fairly large extent. So in every sector of geospatial technology is relevant in every sector of economy. If you look at the world, there are different systems. There are economic systems, there are environmental systems, and there are social systems. So geospatial technologies play a role in all three, and all three together, if they are doing well, then the nation becomes Viksit.
Yeah. So another question from University of Delhi, Chetna Bhumbari. Her question is, as a geography undergrad and planning to pursue master in geoinformatics, what should be my career plan if I want to grow in the field of geoinformatics? And what skill set and the roadmap you will suggest to students for the better position tomorrow?
So I think in my talk, I touched about this as well to a great extent. The only thing which I would like to add is that the learn other new technologies which are quite closely connected, like Python scripting. I think that's important. And even if you are doing geoinformatics, uh, give some focus to machine learning, about machine learning, artificial intelligence, AR, VR, how to I mean, how to train models. I think these kind of things will help you in building a better career.
Yeah. And the last question, sir, that is Neha Mitra. She is from Symbiosis International University, and she is asking about that. How do you see the role of geospatial technology evolving in the next 10 years?
I think in next 10 years, a lot of automation will be based on geospatial technologies, the GIS. Because if you want to automate something, you must know uh, where that thing is or where all you need to automate. I'll give you an example of an airport. If you go to, for example, if you go to Delhi airport, uh, uh, it, it's a good example of effective. I mean, if they use GIS, they can be more efficient in terms of how's the crowding at different entry points, uh, where all security challenges could be, Where are the points where somebody can hide something? Where should the now airports look like shopping malls? Most of the airports are like that. Hyderabad, Delhi. I was so most of and the shops and restaurants and the food outlets earn a lot of revenue, a lot of money for the airport operator. So in all those where to set up which kind of shop can be decided based on a GIS based analysis, looking at how many people will move at what time of the day, uh, and what kind of if they move, which kind of shop should come first and what should come towards the end. So and these are being used. They use it. It's not that they don't use it. So these kind of applications which we could not conceive few years ago. A lot of new applications will come in. Automation in terms of agriculture, like what kind of insecticide or other fertilizer should be applied, and then automating something to apply that will be GIS based. Imagine that you connect to agriculture system, you get a weather feed, you know the wind direction, you know the moisture amount in the wind, you know how much water needs to be applied to the crop, and you automate that totally. I think that will become very common in the future, and then this will call a drone to spray something and start some water from somewhere, and the whole thing will happen like that. We talk about connected cars and driverless cars. They are being successfully tried, at least in US, I'm aware. They work quite well. I think that might increase quite a bit. And more, see, when we automate these kind of steps, they cannot be done without use of a geospatial technology. You will need some kind of a imagery, some kind of remote sensing data, some technology to manage the whole thing. So it's really a transformative technology today, and will continue and evolve more and more. Thank you.
Yes, sir. You correctly said that no technology can come up with that no the without that geospatial. If you are talking about driverless car or automated car, you require that no the precise mapping system also over there, and without GIS, that precise mapping system and a high accurate mapping system is not possible. So the geospatial is going to be play a very important role while such kind of automation will come over. Uh, Thank you for that. No, and I know that no for the geospatial professionals, your talk is a treat for them actually for today, and they have that no the lot of insight they got it from that no from your talks where that no the geospatial is going to be utilized and how it is going to be utilized and what is the prospect of geospatial industry. Basically, that no when that new emerging technology like AI and machine learning hitting our market, then how this geospatial is going to be work with them. So these things, I think that no, the most of students and most of professionals now their thoughts are now clear about the geospatial technology, and certainly that no your vision about no how it is going to be spread all across India. I'm looking that in the future the geospatial industry are going to be in a high growth using that the artificial intelligence. Over to you, Dr. Gauri, for further proceeding.
Yeah. So thank you, sir, for your informative talk, and our student will benefit it from a lot. And thank you for um, thrown the light on the GIS technologies as well as the Viksit Bharat, how the geospatial technologies will help in uh, doing the Viksit Bharat plan successful. So thanks a lot for your inputs.
Thank
And
you.
yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time, and thank you all of you. Thank you all that know the audience, students all across India, and I hope that know you are going to be get in touch. And if you have any further questions, you can touch with us. We will send to that know the Agendra Kumar ji, and whatever that his response would be there, we will also communicate to you. Thank you all of you.
Thank you, Dr. Gauri and Dr. Singh. Thank you so much for
Thank,
inviting me for this
Thanks,
thank
sir.
talk.
you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
wonderful. Thank you.